Hello and welcome. I'm here to talk to you about my GreenStalk today. This is something that I love. I still love it 2 years later. When I first got it, I don't think I prepared it the way I should do. And as a result, the plants I tried in it were not as successful as this year is looking, as you can see. So I'm going to show you what I've done in order to ensure that I have such a successful, bountiful growing space, which provides me with so much joy. In fact, I actually sit behind you there and have my coffee looking at this. And whenever I'm saying good morning to the family, this is the one space I use in order to show them how happy my garden is. I'm going to bring you closer so you can have a look at exactly what it is I'm growing in this space. But I thought some of you who have smaller spaces might consider something like this. It is quite pricey, and I had mine shipped from, I think it's in Holland, somewhere in Holland where I got them from. The shipping is very quick, and I think the way I've used it this year means that I'm getting my money's worth out of it. So as we get closer, what you can see is it is a riot of color, isn't it? Look at it. It's just, well, the tomatoes are making it very colorful. It's a lot of green, which I love. These are my beans, which I actually added, what was it? Oh God, what was it? Comfrey in my compost tea too. And the leaves grow massive because of it. And when we go up, we've got self-seeded tomatoes all around the back of it. This is the only tomato I planted in there, and it is doing lovely, wonderful. So I thought it was a rhodocaption, but I do not know whether or not it is really a rhodocaption that I have got in there. These ones I thought were tumbling tomatoes I put in there, but they're growing too big for tumbling tomatoes. So I have no clue what kind of tomato that is. I've got some dwarf beans, which are being a little bit mullered by slugs, because that is one of the key things that can happen with these. But what I did is I bought this copper sheaths, and although I didn't put this one on properly, and I'm going to add another one to it. Sorry, I wasn't showing it to you. I'm going to add another one to it in order to ensure that the slugs don't actually get up there. When you wrap them in the copper, they don't get eaten. I've got my dwarf bolotto beans in there as well. These are the ones that are growing really big. I'm a little bit averse to go towards the pond area because of the fact that I've got Frog in there at the moment with all this hot weather we've been having. Mr. Frog decided that he's going to come and spend some time with us. And the first time he saw me, I think I started him, he started me. And as a result, what happened was he was jumping on the net. And I was getting scared, and he was getting scared. And you know, some frogs can swell up. So he swelled up and looked really, really huge. I can't see where he is right now, but I do not wish to startle him. So I'll be very gentle as I go through here. So what we've got here is we've got potatoes. So I've got potatoes growing in there. I tried to grow potatoes last year, but they didn't do too well, so I'd given up on them. But I think a few tiny little potatoes remained in there. And as a result, they are growing. When you go further down here, this is a potato plant which has extended out of there. So it must be a main crop potato. And much as I would be tempted to try and actually take some of these cuttings and put them into the ground to see whether they'll produce potatoes elsewhere, I'm not sure. What do you think? Should I do that? Because I've never tried it. It is worth a go. When we go around this side, it's taken up by tomatoes. And I don't know if you can actually see into there, but we've actually got some tomatoes in there. As you can see, all of them growing from this GreenStalk. It is a jungle, but I love it. It's a jungle that I actually love so much, and I'm very pleased with it. And I think It has done so much better this year for many reasons. One of the key things I've done is to retain the moisture within the plants. I've actually used some horse bedding straw to cover the pockets in order that I do not have to worry about evaporation as much. And obviously, the fact that it is so lush and covering the pockets themselves means that it's probably not losing as much water as it should do. And something else I did at the beginning of the season is I refreshed all the pots with fresh compost. I didn't take out all the old compost because what you know is as plants grow and seasons move, compost will actually get broken down because it's organic, and it will actually be turned into material that will then be used by the plants to eat and grow. So what I had to do is I had to add extra compost, but I also added some slow release fertilizer to it when I was actually refreshing all the levels before planting in it this year. And I think that's the one good thing I did this year, which has helped it to thrive so well. Something else I did is I've been better at watering it this year. One of the key things you have to remember when you're doing container gardening is ensuring that your plants are getting enough water. And if you don't give them enough water, what will happen is they will try to grow for you, but they will not succeed because they'll be struggling. My garden is south facing, and what you will see is the fact that everything grows so beautifully because of it. We have the sun from about 7 o'clock in the morning in the summer all the way through till the sun nearly sets in the evenings after 7. So even at 7 p.m., we're still getting a little bit of sun in the garden. So it can get quite warm. The fact that the house is built with brick means that you will get a lot of heat being stored in the bricks and then being sent back out into the plants that I grow close to the wall. And the GreenStalk is obviously right next to the house, and therefore it will be receiving some of that heat. And what we have to take into consideration is the fact that that heat will actually add to the evaporation of water from the plants, and the plants will be thirsty and will be there for drinking a lot more. So a key thing that I've actually achieved this year, which I did not do in the previous year, is to give my plants enough water to survive this heat that we've been going through. These plants here, I use self-watering systems in, but the GreenStalk, I haven't actually worked out how I could have a self-watering system within it. And therefore, what I have to do is I have to make sure that I provide it with enough to ensure that it is well nourished, because obviously if you don't have enough water in the GreenStalk, your plants are not going to be able to access all the nutrition that you've put in, including the slow release fertilizer, which you need in order to ensure that you're actually allowing it to break down slowly and provide for your plants. Sorry, I'm just looking around as I'm chatting with you and enjoying the garden, my little jungle. Okay, so I thought I'd sit down to finish off. So to summarize, my GreenStalk has actually been as successful as it is because I refreshed my compost at the beginning of the growing season to ensure that the plants I was going to put in there had the nutrition they needed. Number two, I have ensured that I water the GreenStalk consistently and regularly. And even in my absence, my sister has been able to help me by watering it every other day. Another thing that I feel that worked in terms of the watering is the fact that I changed up the top reservoir. I closed the central point through which the water is supposed to go to the different levels, because I found that it was actually resulting in a lot of water being lost out of the GreenStalk itself. And instead, I expanded the holes on the outer circumference of the reservoir to take the water down. And as it drips into each of the levels, as it fills and saturates that soil, it moves further and further down, which has also helped. And when I sow anything in there, I do water each pocket individually to ensure that the seedlings have enough moisture to help them germinate and grow in those first few weeks. Something else that has helped is mulching to reduce the evaporation of water from my pot. So I feel that's helped. And then also to do with watering and feeding is the provision of regular weekly water-soluble fertilizer. So even if the pots themselves have a slow release fertilizer, it will only last so long. And in addition to that, it also is released very slowly, whilst water-soluble fertilizer is accessible instantly to those plants as they pull up that water, and therefore they're able to take in what they need in order to grow well. The final thing that I think has helped is the presence of different plants within the same growing space. So I love community planting. I call it community planting and not companion planting because I don't go and look up which plants grow well together. I simply put plants in as instinct guides me. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just as sometimes you may have neighbors you don't get on with, it's the same with plants. If they like each other, they'll grow well together. In fact, they seem to grow into each other a little bit more when they're happier together. So I like to create growing spaces which have this level of community because I feel the plants are happier, just as we humans are happy when we have a community of people. And often we enjoy it more when we have some people who are different to us. So we may have similarities, but we also have differences and we still get on. Obviously, sometimes it may fail because not everyone gets on with everyone else, and therefore it's the same with plants. Not all plants get on with each other. But if that's the case, you learn from it and you move on. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've enjoyed and fallen in love with my GreenStalk the way I'm in love with it myself. I honestly love this, and I could quite happily have more if I had the space, but I don't have the space. And so, until the next time, have a good one.